Kunja Bihari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Channa Vallabha Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Shodanandana Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivaradari Channa Vallabha Jaya Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Shri Radha Madhava Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So I speak in English, okay? Probably majority is better with English, but then we need translation for the in German. But who can do that? Daruka can do that. Very good. I don't know, you need translation also for, or every one of you speaks English? Very good. Okay. Convenient. Okay. So I asked right now. Oh, yeah. The Russians don't understand me, of course. You're right. So you can organize that quickly? Who can translate? And then you go maybe in the back. with those who don't speak English? You have someone likes to translate? Yes? Good. So maybe you can sit then a little bit in the back. And I hope it's loud enough for you in the back then to hear me also. Oh, many, ja, many. Dann vielleicht die deutsche Übersetzung geht ein bisschen rüber. Subal ist auch hier, könnt ihr euch noch ausschnapsen. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So Russian, Lithuanian, German. Where are the Russians? Where's the Russian speaking? Okay, so only the Lithuanians don't speak the English. Okay. Fine. So you translate? Okay, you translate. Okay. Good. Okay. So, und wo ist unsere deutsche Übersetzung jetzt? Ich weiß nicht, wo der Rucker jetzt hingelaufen ist. Okay. Good. Anyway, fangen wir an. So we chant the verse which is on the board. Ya evam santam atmanam. Ya evam santam atmanam. Atmastam veda purushaha. Atmastam veda purushaha. Nachyate prakriti stopi. Nachyate prakriti stopi. Tat gunai sa mayi stitaha. Tat gunai sa mayi stitaha. Ya evam santam atmanam. Atmastam veda purushaha. Nachyate prakriti stopi. Tat gunai sa mayi stitaha. Okay. So let's chant. Mataji's. Yaha, anyone who, evam, thus, santam, existing, atmanam, the individual Atma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead Paramatma. Supreme Personality. Atmastam, situated within his body. Veda, knows. Purushaha, person. Na, never. Achyate, is affected. Prakriti, in material nature. Sta, situated. Api, although. Tat gunai, by the material modes of nature. Sa, such a person. Mai, in me. Stitaha, situated. Translation. Although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for he is always situated in my transcendental loving service. Purport. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in this material world, he is not affected by the modes of material nature. Similarly, those who are always connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they be within the material body or the material world, are not affected by the material qualities. That is explained very nicely in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mang chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is unflinchingly engaged in devotional service of the Lord surpasses the material qualities and attains Brahman realization. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if a person is always engaged in the service of the Lord with his body, words, and mind, he is to be considered liberated, although living in the material world. Homa Yajna gnanandasya shalakaya chakshurumiltamina tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Mukham karoti vachalam bangung langayate kerim yat kripatamang vande Shri Gurundina Taranam. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapidam Nena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabanantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again the verse. Although within the material nature, one who is thus situated in full knowledge of the Paramatma and Atma is never affected by the modes of material nature, for is always situated in my transcendental loving service. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, very beautiful verse we hear here, and also very hopeful. Because all of us are afflicted by the material world. There is no one who is not afflicted. All embodied living beings suffer the different kinds of tribulations of the material world. But here it's explained that this is not necessary. It is not what has to be. There is a solution for the problematic situation of the soul in this material world. And this is devotional service, or Krishna consciousness. And I would guess so that all of us experience this to some degree, some more, some less, depending on our surrender, more or less. The more we are surrendered, the more we experience liberation from the material modes of nature. And this is very much true. Even though we might be in very difficult situations, when we are very surrendered, somehow or other it disappears, right? And if we are not surrendered, even though the problem might not be so big, we are suffering, right? I remember once I was on book distribution and had real strong toothache. A real strong toothache, but I was, fanatic, brahmachari at that time. I have to go on book distribution, I have to do this, and it was okay. And it was just going on the street and running around, and it was okay, right? Or anyway, on book distribution in general, I don't know, maybe some of you went on book distribution on the street. It's not so easy. Sometimes it's said, oh, every step is a dance, every word is a song on Sankirtan. Yeah, it can be, but can be also the opposite. It can be also very, very painful. When everyone ignores you or spits at you. Maybe someone spit at you. Maybe not, I haven't experienced that directly, but someone spit in front of me. Or they want to fight you, or they want to, whatever. No? Can happen. Or traveling in a van. Maybe some of you were even traveling in a van. Maybe somewhere in a very cold atmosphere in winter time. And you go out of the van, you take shower in the middle of the snow. Yeah, sometimes maybe experience that. Very funny actually. And it's tolerable because you understand this is the mission, I want to surrender, and the mind is amazing how much actually we can tolerate. Now if I think about it, to go again into the van and drive around in the van in the minus 20 degrees and go out and take shower and run around on the street with like boots and hat and everything and approach people, I say, oh no, my mind says no, I don't want to do that anymore, right? But at that time it was okay, it was normal, it was fine. The mind was adjusted to it and it's possible. Yeah, so it's amazing how much is possible when we are surrendered. Yeah. And it's also important to take some kind of sankalpa before we do something. Also in chanting sometimes it's like this. If I leave my mind a little bit loose, it doesn't want to be so determined. And say, okay, I just can go on a chapa walk. No, chapa walk, we have these chapa walks. Everyone likes chapa walks. But it's not ideal for chanting. Maybe here it's not too bad, yeah, you go out, there are fields, there are cows, you can think about Vrindavan, it's kind of not so problematic. But a chapa walk, maybe in the city, through the shopping street, is maybe not so absorbed. Chapa walk, a very meditational chapa walk through the shopping street. It's maybe not so absorbed. Yeah. So, but if you sit and you chant, yeah, then it's better, it's more conducive for your absorption. But it needs a kind of a sankalpa. Okay, now I will sit down and I chant my rounds and sitting and I will do that. And then it works. When you have this determination, when you know what you want to do. And through this we can do amazing things. If you think, okay, what do I want to do for Krishna? Okay, I'll do this and might become a little bit difficult, but I will stick to it. I will go through it. And then the end say, wow, I did it. I did not think that what would have been possible, but I could do it. Whatever you want to do, actually, for Krishna. But here the point is, when we are in this service, then we transcend the modes of material nature. Prabhupada quoted also this verse, Mangcha Vyabhicharina. Vyabhicharina, avyabhicharina actually. Avyabhicharina means without interruption. If there is devotional service to Krishna without interruption, sagunan samatityetan, meaning the modes of nature, the gunas, they become transcended. Of course, this is a very, very, very high platform. For me at least, it's a very high platform. Transcending the modes of material nature at all, right? That they are not existing. As Prabhupada says here, as for Krishna, a devotee can be as transcendental to the modes of material nature like Krishna. When Krishna comes in this material world, he doesn't have to do anything to transcend the modes of material nature. He is in this world, but the world has no effect on him. There's no karma, no material nature, nothing. He's completely transcendental. Avatar. He appears in this world, can do whatever he likes. He's still in control of the whole material world, even though he's in the material world. He's still the supreme controller of the whole material energy, even though he's in the material world. He acts as if he's someone of us. Narakriti. Narakriti. He acts like a human. He behaves like a human. Hare Krishna. Oh, he bows to this person. He said he bows to the superiors. Yeah. He acts in these diplomatic ways. He has his armies. In Vrindavan, he runs away from his mother when she has a stick, like a child. And even Queen Kunti is wondering, was he really crying? Was he really crying? How is this possible that he cries? That he has tears in his eyes running away from his mother. So he acts narakriti as a human being, but he is not. He is completely transcendental. Material energy cannot affect him. This is always lila for him. It's always, he chooses what happens. And he never chooses wrong either. He's never choosing wrong. He says, oh no, I chose the wrong thing. Now I'm in a problematic situation. He's always in control, complete control, transcendental. Nothing can happen to him. And a devotee can come to the same platform, Prabhupada said here, as a devotee. Similarly, those who are always connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though they be in the material body or the material world, are not affected by the material qualities. So But, of course, this is not our motivation, or this should not be. Maybe in the beginning it is. There are 4 kinds of people who surrender to Krishna, and one of those are those who are suffering, and they surrender. But it's not ideal. In the beginning, we might have this or that motivation. What is this? Chatur vidha bhajante mang chanasu kriti norjana arto chikyasu artati gyanicha bharatarshava. 4 kinds of people surrender to Krishna. One is suffering in the material world. Maybe he's sick or something. Very sick. Well, we do many yagyas here actually for Nrsimhadev when someone is sick. And they call Ramananda, oh, my uncle is very sick in a difficult situation. Please protect him or something. So we surrender when we are sick. No? So who is in a suffering condition or financial situation? Sometimes even, oh, we have a financial situation. Please, Nrsimhadev, protect us. I always wonder. No? Anyway, Krishna is very merciful. So many people, if it needs suffering, it needs a problem to surrender. If everything is fine, no need to. Why should I surrender? I'm young, beautiful, I'm healthy, I have a nice wife, I have a nice child, enough money in the bank. Why do I need God? Why don't? Maybe God gave you all that. You say a little bit, thank you. Why do I need God? I have everything. But then suddenly, oh no, my child is sick. Oh, please God, help the child. Oh, maybe divorce or something. Please help us. No? So Krishna understands that and says in Bhagavad Gita, these are the people. They surrender to me. Or those who have, actually it said, those who have no money. This is actually differentiate between those who are suffering, different situation, but those who want to have artha, economic gains, money. There's a different category. It's a category of its own who surrender to Krishna. Money. Money is the honey. Right? Money is the honey. Who does not agree? That's very true. Money is so powerful. Lakshmi Devi is very, very powerful. It's very tempting. Even great personalities, even great sadhus, renounced people, spiritual people fell victim to money. Maybe you know have some examples even. Maybe some big gurus or some leaders fell victim to money. Oh, so tempting. Maybe we can do something here. It's very, very attractive. So we have to be very careful, especially the renounced people should be very careful with money. Because money can fulfill all your desires, more or less. You can have everything. Now you think of nothing. I have no material desires. I want nothing. I'm completely renounced. I put 5 million euros in your hand. Let's see how many desires you really have. Because suddenly you say, oh, I could have everything. Oh, maybe suddenly the desires come up. Before you were not thinking, because there was no opportunity. We can be very renounced when we are like completely fallen of any grace of material enjoyment. Right? If you are, stupid, ugly, poor, fallen, have nothing, fallen condition. But suddenly, if you get opportunities, then it looks different. So money is very powerful, and devotees should be very careful with money. The brahmana should live should be poor. In armut. Armut? Poverty. A brahmana should live in poverty. It's like a restriction even. Like, who is the great example for this? One of the great examples. Remember? It's Chanakya Pandit. Yes, Sudam Vipra also. Yes, also. But Chanakya Pandit, because he was living in a hut or something, he was the guru of the king. Chandragupta, right? It was Chandragupta, no? I remember, I think it was Chandragupta. And he was living in a hut. And he was the guru of the king, the great Chandragupta. And the king came to him, oh, what shall I do? And I need advice. And he was explained to him. And then the king left and did that. So it was very powerful, this Chanakya Pandit, very, very powerful. And sometimes the king comes and says, please come in my house. Come in my palace. I'll give you a room. And he said, no, I don't want that. This is not my dharma. That shall not be. And he was, Chanakya. Now, Niti Shastra, it's called Niti Shastra, his book. The Shastra of all the regulations of the moral, actually, the moral codex. And he was embodying that. Yeah. So he knew what is proper for such a personality. I heard once a story that when Gaur Govinda Maharaj came to Europe after Bhagavan left, once we had a guru, his name was Bhagavan, maybe some of you know, he was one of the 11. When Prabhupada left the planet, he chose 11 devotees who will be the next gurus. However that was meant to be, this is a whole political issue. It's a very, very complicated story. But more or less there were 11 and Bhagavan was one of them, right? You had Harikesh, he was very important here. Also in the how do you say? Ex-UdSSR, also Harikesh was very powerful. And also here in Germany, North Europe. You had Chapataka Maharaj, he's still around. And so many others. Anyway, and Bhagavan was the GBC for France, Italy, and also England. And he took over ISKCON when it was very powerful, 1977. When Prabhupada left, there were many devotees. And there were not just many devotees, but the quality of the surrender of the devotees was exceptional. Because they were all Prabhupada's disciples. And they were in this mood of, yes, complete surrender. Whatever Prabhupada wanted, we do. They were very, very, very surrendered. A super high level of surrender we cannot even imagine. When you hear all the stories, what they did. And then these young devotees, these 11, they got more or less all this surrendered manpower and woman power. Right? So they had lots of influence. They got many projects and money and all that. So, and Bhagavan had France, which was in the end times one of the best book distribution countries in the whole world. France was so powerful. In the last days before Prabhupada left, it was one of maybe number one. They distributed so many books in France. And he had very nice castles, very nice places, and he was the acharya, so everything had to be very opulent and made out of gold and like regular gold. So Bhagavan left then in 1986. He maybe don't want to be a guru and sannyasi anymore and did something else. Was of course a big crisis, as always. So and then Gaur Govinda Maharaj came in to preach or something, and he went to, I think it was in Italy, to some place, and he got the Guru Suite, formerly Bhagavan's rooms, which were big and opulent and gold everywhere. And when he came, he immediately said, no, I will not stay here. I will not stay here. I'm a sannyasi. This is like a room for a king. And he rejected it, which I found very educating, right? Yeah, so we are, of course, we know Yukta Vairagya. In ISKCON, this is a whole thing, Yukta Vairagya, but we have to be careful with Yukta Vairagya. Yeah? We should not think, oh, I'm a devotee, now I can do anything and everything and everywhere because I will purely use it in Krishna's service. Yeah, if we are that powerful and pure, you can do whatever. But we have to be very honest with ourselves. Where are we maybe not capable to handle these opulences or this material energy, so to say? And we will not use it 100% in Krishna's service. We use it a little bit for ourselves. So this is a very tricky situation, actually. But back to my point. So those who want riches, they surrender to Krishna. Then you have the others who are the curious, the curious. And then you have the jnani, those who strive for the absolute truth. So these are the four. Those who suffer, those who want material gains, those who are curious, those are a little bit, esoteric people, maybe what's with, these guys who walk with these two sticks, metal sticks, and then they figure out where is the water or something. And in German you call it Wünschelrute. How you call this in Lithuanian? Wünschelrute. I don't even know how to call it in English. Wünschelrute. But you know this, huh? It's two sticks, metal sticks, and then they go like this. You know this, huh? Like these esoteric people. They are like open for other things. They go to the esoteric convention and they all have their special energy field mats and the healers and those which can predict your future, and they put the cards and like all these esoteric people, and they're a little bit curious and open-minded, wondering. They might go into Krishna consciousness because they're open for it, right? And wasn't it that there were 4 kinds of devotees given also for this verse? Wasn't it that the sages of Naimisharanya, someone remembers? I think it was the sages of Naimisharanya were embodying those curious people. The first, those who were suffering, I think was Gajendra, right? Gajendra, he was embodying that in a very problematic situation to surrender to Krishna, the elephant, to pray to the Lord. And the one who wanted to have the riches was, who remembers? Huh? Yeah, it's true. I think it was Dhruva. Yeah, Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah, Dhruva. Because he wants to be very rich. Dhruva wanted to be really rich. I want to be the richest person. I want to beat Elon Musk. That was Dhruva's ambition. Imagine you were at home and think, what do I want to do in life? I want to be richer than Elon Musk. Yeah, I will do that now. And you do it. Not just determination in the mind. Determination in the modes of tamaguna. Just, maybe. No, you do it. Dhruva did it. I want to be the richest person. I want to have the biggest kingdom in the whole universe. And he was that Dhruva. He was so determined. Like a book distributor says, I want to be the best book distributor in the whole world. I want to beat everyone. Right? That's determination. And I do whatever it takes. Yeah, Dhruva did that. So, and the last category was the jnani, those who search for the absolute truth. So not just curious, is there something and all that. No, I'll search for the absolute truth. This is the purpose of life. The Kumaras were the example for that, the jnani, perfect jnani. And then Krishna says, Udara sarva evaite jnanit madhyamematam asita sa hiyuktatma mam evanutamam. No, the last line is not right. But he says, Udara sarva evaite. All of them are glorious. He says, all of them are glorious. He does not say, oh, the guy who says, please, my dear Krishna, give me 10 euros. He says, oh, you're a karmi, you're not a bhakta. No, he says, they are all glorious because they surrender to me. Krishna is so merciful. But this jnani, who is actually more or less a bhakta already, he is the best. This is the purest, this is the best. The others are also glorious because they turn towards me. And with time, their devotion will get purified. So all of us, we came to Krishna consciousness out of different reasons. Maybe some were really like, I'm searching for the absolute truth. I was always religious since I was born. I was believing in God and I wanted to be closer to God. And then you come to Krishna consciousness. Maybe you were like this. Maybe. Sometimes devotees are like this. Some were maybe more in this category of, oh, what is the future, and the stars and carbon, like more curious and esoteric things. And maybe you were, I don't know, putting your cards or whatever. And some were really in a problematic situation. Maybe some searched more for out of social interest, right? Some this or that. So, but whatever the reason is, so Prabhupada, he made like a big net. The Krishna conscious movement should be a big net when you go fishing and you have a little net, and you go only with your little net. Of course, we don't fish, yes. So the example is not so fitting. Maybe you were fishing before. So you have a little net, and it's difficult. But sometimes these ships go on the sea and put out this huge net, and if they catch so many fish. So Krishna consciousness, it can be a big net. There can be many different ways of presenting Krishna consciousness. Of course, there's a border. There's a certain area where you cannot cross, of course. But Prabhupada gave us something which is very broad. And he gave many aspects. We should have scientific preaching, right? We should go into this direction. We should have the more traditional approach with the deities. We should have the book distribution. We should have the art and all that. The cooking, the restaurants and all that. Prabhupada was very liberal. Prabhupada even wanted that Sankirtan devotees distribute Gornitai on the street. He wanted that the BBT, I think it was even the BBT, should make, and he called it Krishna dolls. Krishna dolls. Gornitai deities in like a nice package, like you buy, Barbie? Barbie dolls? Yeah, you know Barbie? Yeah, or He-Man. In my time in the 80s, it was all like the He-Man action figures. So similar to that, Prabhupada wanted Gornitai. Like a nice package, Gornitai, and the Sankirtan devotee distributes on the street Gornitai to the people. And tells the people, put them in your house, take nicely care of them, and they will fulfill all your desires. This is what Prabhupada said. I think this is quite liberal. This is quite liberal. Gornitai to any person. Put them at home nicely. Just take nicely care of them. They will fulfill all desires. Because Gornitai are very liberal. So Prabhupada made the whole movement very broad so that all of us find also a way how to communicate it to the others. It should not be something what is only for us. So definitely we have to share Krishna consciousness. And this is also a way, a point, how we can be very nicely absorbed in Krishna consciousness and transcend the modes of material nature. We shouldn't be naive and think, I'm completely transcendental now and nothing can harm me. No, but we can more and more become absorbed. And even Prabhupada said in the 10th canto when he was speaking about book distribution that this is what we all have to do. And if a devotee does that, what he said, I forgot the words. I forgot the exact quote, but he said like that you are always in samadhi. That was the point. When you do book distribution, you're so absorbed that you're always in samadhi. Samadhi is like the transcendental state of consciousness. So, more or less, this is the point. Everyone has to find his way in Krishna consciousness, how to be absorbed, how to be interested, how to be fulfilled, how to be happy with Krishna. And then you will practice Krishna consciousness your whole life until the very end. And you will die in a very good consciousness. And you will make the best out of this life. Maybe some go directly to the spiritual world even. At least we get a wonderful next birth, which is way better than this one. Not be born in some material situation with some, sorry to say, meat-eating parents who have no clue about anything, more or less. Maybe some of you have more better parents, maybe some of you not. But this will not happen again. You will be born in a house of devotees. Right from the beginning, you go to the temple. Your parents, they do all the samskaras for you. Even when you're very small, you sit at the yagya pit already. You will see the deities from the beginning. Your parents will tell you all kinds of Krishna stories for bedtime. So you hear all the time Krishna Katha. You only eat prasadam. You're in the association of devotees. You grow up as a devotee and it will be very natural. Many problems we still have is because of our old life, which is still influencing us and has an effect on our devotion and drags us a little bit into more sense gratification. But this will not happen anymore. But this happens is only possible when we are fulfilled in Krishna consciousness. And the best is if we are fulfilled with very direct way of Krishna consciousness, meaning chanting the holy name, hearing Krishna Katha, reading the Bhagavatam. Yeah, this is the very direct ways, deity worship, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. This should be, if possible, this should be really our goal. I want to be fulfilled in hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, thinking about Krishna. This is very, very nice. When we develop this attraction towards Krishna. And how do we do that? It's in 4 forms, in 4 points, which are very important. And one of the forms we all practice very intensely, all of us. And this is the name. We chant Hare Krishna so much every day, 16 rounds, doing kirtan, very important, good. But there are 3 other steps which are equally important in developing love for Krishna. Second is chanting, meditating, hearing about Krishna's form. Right? Krishna's form. How does he look? The Supreme Lord, how does he look? We should every day also nicely meditate and hear and chant about his form, which is so nicely explained in our Shastra. That he has this wonderful bluish, blackish body, that he has lotus feet. He has no regular feet. He has lotus feet. Even his feet are so perfect and attractive as anything in the whole universe. The most beautiful, wonderful thing in the universe is only a fragment of the beauty of his lotus feet. Right? And he is wearing a pitambara, how's it called? It's like a yellowish cloth, right? Yellowish. It said it's yellowish like, and it's glittering and flashing. Yeah, it's the flash of flashlight. How to say? Flash? No. Lightning. Yes, thank you. Lightning. As lightning. And his bluish, blackish color is of that of a cloud. So when there's a big cloud, last days we had lots of clouds and rain and lightning, then it looks like this. The color, the dress looks like the lightning in this cloud. And to make this comparison even further, go further, it said his voice is as deep as the thunder. So the acharyas give this nice example, right? Because you see this cloud, the lightning, and you hear it also. Like a thunder. If there's a heavy thunder, it's powerful. It's frightening, actually, right? Some are frightened. When there's a thunder, they are frightened. Whoa. Especially if it's directly over your head. There you can hear the power of nature. So Krishna's voice is deep as a thunder. Very powerful. And then he has a lotus navel. It's also nice. It's a lotus navel. Yeah. And out of the lotus navel grows a lotus flower, actually. But of Vishnu. No, Krishna not. Krishna doesn't need that. But Vishnu. And out of the flowers, Brahma is born, then the whole universe. Anyway, so he has a broad chest and long arms, like elephant trunks. It's always compared to elephant trunks. Arms are compared to elephant trunks. And very strong. Krishna is very strong. And this wonderful, beautiful lotus face with lotus eyes and wonderful eyebrows. Actually, when we are tempted by sense gratification, desires, and even lusty desires, you should meditate on the eyebrows of Krishna. Some or other, they make you very pure. It's very attractive also. And it's also like this, when we look the eyebrows and the eyes, that they are so bow-shaped. And Krishna is also compared to the Cupid. And Cupid is shooting arrows which are bewildering everyone. But Krishna is the real Cupid, right? He's Madan Mohan. He's the real Cupid. And when he shoots the arrows in the heart of a devotee, he's attracted to him more than to anything else. Yeah. So Krishna is more attractive than anything and everyone else. So it's this beautiful face, perfect face. Maybe you are in love, or you want to be in love with someone and think, oh, he's so beautiful, she's so beautiful, right? Sometimes we think, oh, this beauty, oh, right? It's natural to be attracted to the face of others. But Krishna's face is like unlimitedly more beautiful than your beauty with whom you want to be in love. Perfect face. And black curly hair. And he wears a peacock feather even in his hair. And always smiling. It said Krishna is always smiling. Smita Krishna is a name actually of Krishna. Smita Krishna, the smiling Krishna. Always smile. Of course, Krishna can look also angry in certain situations, but for his devotees, he is always smiling. And he has a flute on his lips. Right? Venum kvanantam aravinda dalaya daksham. This verse. Bhagavatam samasitam buddha sundaram. Kandarpa koti kamaniya. What is it? Kandarpa kamaniya vishesha shobam. Govindamadi purusham tamang bhajami. Venum. Venum, the flute. So this is the form, right? And we should hear about Krishna's form or see his form. Prabhupada said that the pictures are windows to the spiritual world. Yeah. So it's very important to meditate and think and hear about his form. And then the next point is his qualities. The devotee should hear about the qualities of Krishna. And there are so many qualities, starting with this famous verse, what is it? Aishvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashaha shriyaha Gyana Vairagyayam. What is it? Gyanam Vairagyayam. I forgot. When he has 6 qualities, he is the richest and all that. Yeah. Richness, beauty, renunciation, knowledge and all that. So the 6 qualities of Krishna. Unlimited. So meditate on that also. How is he the richest, the beauty, this and that. And there's 64 qualities. So there are so many qualities of Krishna. And in the end, Leela. Yeah? So Leela. And devotee hears about Krishna's Leelas and pastimes, which are very elaborate. And the acharyas explain that when we do that, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, about Krishna, in these 4 ways, name, form, qualities, pastimes, then naturally a devotee develops love for Krishna. So, and Prabhupada also explains in the beginning, for a devotee, the seva is Krishna. In the beginning, for us, seva is Krishna. So there's no difference when you wash the pots or go on book distribution or whatever you do, yeah? Even deity worship, the seva itself is Krishna. But with time, Krishna will reveal himself in the seva, and you will have direct contact through the seva to Krishna. And this is also very important, right? So that we understand to whom are we serving. Not just we are serving, but whom are we serving. Same with chanting the name. In the beginning, a devotee does not have so much understanding of Krishna through the holy name even. But with time, it makes way more sense. We understand whose name we are chanting. Sometimes we are chanting, we don't even know whose name is it, who is it. And I always give this example. When I know just the name of someone of you, maybe whom I don't know, maybe, what's your name? Huh? Smriti. Okay, Smriti Mataji. So, tells me nothing. Okay, now of course I see you, but tells me nothing. Sorry, I don't know you. Okay, I don't know you. So if someone tells me, oh, Smriti Mataji, she did this flower garland, this, I said, okay, very nice, right? But if I know someone, I know the person, and then someone says Smriti, I say, okay, I know her, then I have way more, and I don't have to meditate on all the form, this and that. It's just because there's a relationship, there is knowledge, and then it's very clear about whom are we talking, right? You understand what I mean? In the same way, for a devotee who knows Krishna because he heard so much about him, he says, you say Krishna, And he has the whole picture. He knows exactly who is that Krishna. And that's why a pure devotee, when he just hears the name Krishna, he even falls in ecstasy. He can be even so, because it's the whole picture is there. Form, qualities, pastimes, everything comes with the name, connected with the name. Yeah. And then when you chant Hare Krishna, this makes way more sense, of course. And that's why Prabhupada says we don't have to meditate separately when we chant the holy name. We don't have to meditate separately, because with time, when we go through the whole cultivation and service and meditation, the name itself embodies all that, contains all that, and you just have to say the name. And out of the name manifests even the lila. Right? So, but this is our duty. We have to do that. We have to really be interested in developing this knowledge about Krishna, this relationship with Krishna, love for Krishna, following the examples of devotees, following the examples of the Brajavasis, and then all that will manifest naturally, easily. So it's just a question of us doing it. Yeah. So this should be the purpose of a devotee. This is my purpose. I want to be a devotee of Krishna. So that's very wonderful. This is what Prabhupada was speaking. He was speaking here about this, how to become transcendental, that we can be transcendental, and it depends on our sincerity, to use our time well, the little time we have. Time passes quickly. And then we really become devotees of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yeah, Subal.
Hare Krishna. I was wondering about this Bhagavad Gita verse, because Srila Prabhupada translates it as unflinching service, and then one immediately gets liberation from the modes of nature. So I'm wondering, when is the stage of unflinching service?
Yeah, unflinchingly, also interesting word. Avyabhicharina. Yeah, avyabhicharina. Avyabhicharina, as I understood, means also without interruption. So we hear also about anishtita bhajana kriya and nishtita bhajana kriya, right? In Madhurya Kadambini. And what is between anishtita and nishtita bhajana kriya? Anatta nivritti. Isn't it? Right? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur speaks about that. You start devotional service, but when you have still anarthas, it's anishtita. It's not steady. It's always interrupted. There's always a break. You stop it. Even in your mind, it goes somewhere else. And so this, no higher taste can really manifest. You always stop, right? Because of anarthas. And then he explains what are these anarthas, and when the anarthas are overcome, then nishtita bhajana kriya, or you say nishta, the platform of nishta. And then naturally it goes very quickly and goes into ruchi and all that. Because you are constantly working in this devotional service with absorption, unflinchingly, without interruption, and then you go into this very high consciousness. Yeah. So, more or less, this is the point. Yeah? The more we are able to unflinchingly do the seva, the more and quicker we come to this transcendental platform. It depends all on that. And we can think of like a laser or something. Yeah. When a laser, first is the laser is a complete, concentration of this energy and light. So it becomes very strong. So we have to really focus, put, as it said, your mind, your speech, your bodily activity in service. All aspects of yourself should be focused on Krishna. So complete focus. And so it's focused, but then the focus should be kept. And when the laser starts to beam at some object, the longer it stays there, it will go through all that. And that is called nishtita bhajana kriya, nishtita. It's steadily working on that, it goes through. But if this concentration is stopped, of course, there's no advancement. Right? So we have to be really focused, really, understand also where we are not focused and then change it. It's called sincerity, if we are able to do that. And then steadily work on that and we make progress. Right. Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes? 1 second, I think you get a mic. Okay. Anyway, then, yeah.
Thank you for the lecture. Chanting amongst devotees, you gain a lot of spiritual strength to do more rounds. When you're chanting with yourself, how do you unflinchingly, uninterruptedly chant more? Because I notice when I'm alone, it's very difficult and not in the presence of the deity.
Yeah, sure. That's the problem. So that's why more or less Prabhupada created ISKCON, because it's the reality. We should not be alone, right? Actually, we are very weak when we are alone. So you have to try to get as much association as possible. And if that's not possible, somehow or other, make a good plan at home. Yeah, how to really chant your rounds nicely, take some inspiration and work on it. And then it might work that you come to an practice where you're really happy and see it works, and actually it's fine, it's no problem, right? So it's definitely possible. You have to make a plan, but you have to plan how to do it, how many rounds, when to chant, and do it every day, pray a lot to Krishna. Yeah, it's more difficult for sure, but makes you also strong. It's a bigger challenge, makes you strong. And those devotees who even in such situations or in difficult situations stick to their principles, well, they are very, very real devotees, you know. No.
So just more structure.
We can say many things. It's a question which can be answered probably in a whole seminar, but yeah, that's a good... See where your problem is first. See where your problem... Okay, I understand. So this was quite a general question, but see where your problem is. Where's the problem? That I'm not as engaged as in an ideal situation. Okay, where's my problem? What is the challenge? What is my mind doing? And then identify the problem and then steadily work to remove it as much as possible. Analyze the situation and make a plan how to overcome it. Okay. Good. Okay, thank you so much for your kind attention. I wish you a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness and a nice seminar and what you have here. And I wish you a wonderful time here in Simhachalam Dham. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki.